Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the October 9th, 2025 meeting of the Lakeville Conservation Commission. We are being recorded by LakeCAM this evening, and I'd like to ask if anybody else is recording. Seeing no one, we'll go around and introduce ourselves.
Mark Knox.
John LeBlanc.
Michelle Bouchard.
Nancy Yates.
William Alfanos.
Matthew Ferraro.
All right, tonight we only have one thing on the agenda, which is a warrant article for town meeting, which everybody has in front of them. We also have here tonight our town accountant who can explain the process to us. And we also have our town administrator. But if Mike would come up, that would be wonderful. Explain how this works. They can both come. Yes, it's the dynamic duo.
Mike Ellis, Finance Director, and I can kind of go over the accounting mechanisms for the 53.5 revolving fund. So right now we take these receipts into the general fund. They just kind of park in a revenue account all fiscal year. And then when the books are closed, they close as part of our annual free cash certification. By establishing the 53.5 revolving fund, you would segregate those conservation fees and site plan fees to a separate fund outside of the general fund operating budget, where they would be posted as revenue and you can expend from them as allowable under the guidelines. This obviously wouldn't take effect till July 1st, so anything this fiscal year would remain in the general fund and close as free cash. But if the vote passes tonight, starting next fiscal year, we can establish that fund. Each year at annual town meeting, you have to vote a spending limit, like essentially a budget for the special revenue fund. I believe you had done some research. It was between 10 and 15,000 would be a spending cap for it. So basically the revenue goes in, you have free reign as long as it's allowable cost to spend from that fund, as long as you don't exceed the voted budgeted amount.
What if you don't spend it?
It stays in the revolving fund. It's
Okay.
cumulative. It rolls over from June 30th to July 1. Yeah. It actually never goes back to the general fund unless we take another vote to rescind the 53.5 revolving fund.
If we needed to change our max spending limit, does that have to go back to town meeting?
Yes.
Or how would that go? Like, say we set it too low now, it's 10,000.
Yeah.
Can we ask for money mid-year?
So
I've heard others do it, so.
You're exactly right. So if you have one 53.5 revolving fund or you have 100, every year there's going to be an omnibus now that you've established this policy, and it's going to have the spending limits voted every year. So it would just be as simple as kind of going back, looking at what you spent the prior year, what you took in for revenue, making sure it's a realistic spending cap so we don't deficit spend, and then you would just re-vote it at that annual town meeting. That's correct. Yep.
And we're putting 15, I just noticed on what I reprinted didn't have the 15 on there, but for the actual warrant article, we're putting 15.
But we are limited to the amount of money we bring in whatever this revenue source is, right?
The revenue source is
The town doesn't have to kick in for this.
No. It comes off of our administrative fees that I showed you
So
before.
if we don't raise $10,000 in a year,
Right,
we can't spend, we can only spend up to what we have in that account,
right.
up to 10,000.
Yeah, if we only take in 5,000, we can't spend over what we take in.
Exactly. And if you end up in a deficit at June 30th, it would, the special revenue funds actually are a deduction on our free cash. So it's something that I monitor as town accountant and make sure that we're not deficit spending because we don't want any deductions from the town's free cash.
So if the board were to approve, an approved expense here, could we make a phone call to you and make sure the money's there before we?
Yeah, and I actually
Please give us a
I email monthly reports.
Oh,
And it has
yeah.
everything in them, the special
Yeah.
revenue funds, it has the general fund operating budget. So every month, every department head sees what they
Okay.
have as a balance.
All right, beautiful.
And I would probably have to bring that to the meeting. If
Yeah,
we were
'cause
gonna
why-
vote to spend some money, I would bring to the
Yeah.
meeting, this is what Mike says we have.
Well, we should probably, I mean, if the Conservation Commission gets a financial report every month,
Yes,
why can't we get a copy of it?
sure you can.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Was this run by finance or?
So the has started with a base town so light up basically a very basic one. But this they won't put in the town meeting warrant unless the Conservation Commission recommends it. formally with a vote.
Right, but I guess I'm
Um,
wondering if anyone was asked, because at town meeting, typically FinCom will give their recommendation.
So FinCom hasn't weighed in on this. Select board only really on a high level discussed it at a prior meeting.
Ultimately, it's a town vote, so it doesn't matter what we say here. If we put it up there and it doesn't get voted, it's a moot point.
We have warrant review in a couple weeks, where finance would put their kind of say on it,
Yeah.
but to date, they haven't said anything.
Okay.
Does the finance committee say anything about it at warrant review? I can't remember.
They take a vote to whether they recommend it or not. And
At
then,
warrant review?
yeah, what I've
Alright.
done, at least in the last town meeting I've done, is
Okay.
I put on the warrant that I passed out at town meeting who recommended it or not.
Okay.
That's what I guess my point is, I don't feel that we should be bringing it to town meeting if FinCom and the select board don't support it.
Okay,
Right, but we don't have that.
information yet.
I know, but
And
if
we
we-
have to,
Yeah,
if
this
we're
is
gonna
like the
do it,
last
we
minute
have
thing
to
we're
get
doing.
this approved.
Yeah, because there's steps. So. we
I
have to
understand
take
that there's
those
steps, but they probably should have started 3 months ago, and maybe we could have asked those questions, so we don't have to go to town meeting
I don't
with
know.
when FinCom says, we do not recommend this. And then that
And then-
typically governs,
Yeah.
why even take it if we didn't ask them?
Well, I would think after warrant review, if they weren't gonna recommend it, I don't know, then we would have to see if we could pull it, I guess,
So
but.
if we approve this tonight
Yep.
to go to the warrant,
Yes,
and the board, the selectmen and the finance committee don't like it, do we have the option to pull it off the warrant before the town meeting or not?
Now, so that the next meeting on October 14th, we're taking a vote to also accept articles, but also post the warrant.
Okay,
And this would be frozen in time, I guess.
gotcha.
We would have to make a motion at town meeting, basically to
To withdraw it.
withdraw it. And then they'd have to vote.
Yeah.
They'd have to vote on that. How does this,
oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I have sort of two questions. I can
Yeah.
go one after the other. How does this compare to the revolving funds for the other boards that do have those already set up?
I don't
Yes.
Yeah.
So you can kind of have, revolving is kind of like an umbrella term, right? It's money in, money out.
Yeah.
When you vote this to be a specific 53E1/2, that's when all the stipulations come in that you have to annually vote the spending limit, the spending caps. It has to be allowable, under Mass General Law, all the costs that are charged there. So the term revolving funds kind of like an umbrella term, if you will. So, and there's agency funds that are similar to revolving funds as well. So this one really just revolves around the vote of annual town meeting, the spending limit. A little more guidance involved than a regular revolving fund.
So it would be the town's first.
Yeah, we'll be the
Yeah.
town's first.
No
We
other
didn't-
boards have this?
No,
No,
Excuse me, the Middleborough Lakeville Herring Commission has a revolving fund controlled by Middleborough.
yeah, if it's controlled by Middleborough in their books,
Yeah.
I'm not privy to it, but
I believe they did it at town meeting when I was in
did
Middleborough.
that. Yeah, in my previous town, I think we had over 30
Yeah.
of 53E1/2.
right, it's not
28 to
unusual
30.
for a town to have this, it just came to pass that ours didn't.
Yeah, we had 2 pages of spending caps we voted at town meeting, so, yeah, I was surprised to see that we haven't had one voted through yet, yeah.
So have we had one proposed? I'm just curious. Would you guys know that?
Not in
not.
my year here that I've seen, I don't know, you've seen one? No?
No. I
Yeah,
haven't.
I don't know either.
Not to
I
say
don't
it hasn't
remember,
happened, but.
I don't remember
Mm.
one being proposed, but I haven't been at every town meeting
And
either.
it's not, you don't have to have them, the money just goes into the general fund and closes as part of the
Well,
operation.
it does pull money out of the rainy day fund, right?
It pulls money out of our
Free
budget,
cash.
yeah, so we, for example,
That's
use an
kind of why I don't
estimated.
think it's gonna be well
Yeah,
received.
we use an estimated receipt of $10,000 for these, so to your point, yeah, we'll lose that revenue source in the general fund operating budget, yeah.
But this would be letting the people decide, actually, especially in the times that we're in now with a lot of, housing and stuff being like crammed down the town's throat. I would think that this would give us some tools, and specifically, we've talked about this before, about writing a wetland bylaw. And that would have in it the ability to fine, because we've had a lot of violations in town and we're continually frustrated that we can't do anything about it. When people absolutely violate and then destroy the environment, we can go to DEP, but no offense to DEP, but they're not always a lot of help. And it's a little bit of money. And I did talk to, I can't poll the finance committee, but I did talk to one member of the finance committee who didn't seem to have a problem with it, because it's not gonna break the town budget. That we probably won't even get close to the $15,000 spending limit, seeing as the year we took in 8,000. The most money we take in is over ANRADs. It's $1 a foot. And when they did Rocky Woods, it was like $1,500 we took in just off of that one, our agency fees. It's $1 a foot. So we've had a couple of ANRADs that were large areas. So on a regularly year, like in 2024, I think it was 6,000 and something. So we really don't take that much. That wouldn't, and you can see what the allowable expenses are. That would help us be able to spend money on a few things that we can't use the state fees for. We just can't use those state fees for some of these things.
It also eliminates the extra step. If you need to have some funds for one of these things here, then you have to go to a town meeting and apply for it, and you see if you get it. Whereas if we have it to our access, it shortens the amount of time we can respond to whatever we need.
Right. And I don't think that that little amount of money is gonna kill the town budget at this point. And I think it's something that I don't see why we can't let the people decide. And I think we have a good case for it to pass. There's a lot of things that haven't passed in the past and are starting to now, because we're so threatened by outside, the state especially, making us do a lot of things that we don't necessarily have control over.
How does this, what happens to money that we have that was donated or put in, a memorial trust that was earmarked specific for conservation? We have some pots of money. Does this impact that at all? Does that stay?
No.
Yeah, it's a totally different fund. It's in a gift and donation account held separately outside of the revolving fund and the general fund operating budget. So that's kind of a third.
Yeah, we have one for
Third
books
fund.
from
Yeah.
Joe's wife that passed away, and one from Bob.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to make sure that this wouldn't change any other money that we already had earmarked, that if we moved to this model, that we would somehow be losing access to something.
Any conservation gift and donation would stay exactly where it is.
Anybody else? So, can I have a motion that would recommend to the Board of Selectmen that we would like to put this forth in the warrant article for town meeting?
So moved.
So a second?
All right, let's take a roll call vote.
Mark Knox, aye.
John LeBlanc, aye.
Michelle Bouchard, aye.
Nancy Yates, aye.
William Alfanos, aye.
Matt Ferraro, aye.
Motion passes. Thank you very much. John?
Motion to adjourn.
All in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you
Thanks,
both very
gentlemen.
much.